my Microsoft Word?
Yes. No, we're looking at the agenda right now.
Okay, correct. Good. So I just want to share a little tip. When you're sharing your screen with anyone and you want to share something from Word, if you go to the far corner where you see the little caret upward mountain sign and you click that, that will get rid of the ribbon and allow your people to see more of your screen. So I'll add a few computer tips in as I go. So one of the things is you should be able to go to full screen in ProPresenter, not ProPresenter, sorry, it's the package I use at church. In GoToMeeting, if you and get rid of the chatting and all that if you are having trouble seeing my whole screen. So what I want to do is, I'm just going to say a brief word about the Navigator. I think more of us probably need to read it, but I'll just show you where you find it. I've created some user stories. As a business analyst and project management manager, we're into user stories, so I'm creating some fake people with a story to lead us through some items in the Pathways program. And certainly you can ask questions as I'm going, but if I'm going to hit that in another story, I'll wait. And if there's something that isn't covered and you have some questions, we can certainly go over those at the end as well. And if I don't know how to do it, there's a couple of people further along in the Pathways than I am. They can certainly chime in. And if we don't know how to do it, we will find out and we can post it to everybody so that you can figure
Catherine, Carolyn, quick question. I'm at the top of the screen because it's only showing 40%. I went into the drop-down menu. If I make it full screen, that should bring, because we can't see the headings very well right now. What will that do?
Which heading?
Got it. Okay, never mind, I got it.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah.
There should be two little arrows pointing towards each other on the top right on the bar with the chat and the
I know
everything.
There, yeah. But then I can't see questions in the chat box.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So, actually, no. I want to go back to Word for a second. So, we'll do the Navigator thing in a moment once I sign in. So my first story is Alan is really enjoying Toastmasters. He has a curious mind and wants to look at information on all the paths before deciding which path to select. Oh, can everyone see the Toastmasters.org? Is that now showing?
Yes, no, we're looking at the video. A path to better you.
Yeah. Okay, good. So you will see up here the login, the top of the screen. The video is a little distracting. The login. So the first thing you're going to do when you come to the Toastmasters website is log in with your password. Now, if you note down here, if you're logging in for the first time, it says please use forget password and go through that process, and it will allow you. You use your email address that they've set you up, that you provided on your form when you applied for your Toastmasters Club. I have a username, so I'm not using an email address. Remember my password? No, guess not. Okay. Oh, let's see what goes. Let's see, that should work. I'll repeat CAPTCHA. Okay. Shouldn't have logged out, I guess. Okay. So now I'm logged in, it knows who I am, and we want to go to Pathways. Because Alan wants to find out a little bit about Toastmasters before he picks his pathway. So if you click on the Pathways on this menu, it drops down a sub-menu. And so here you can see the Navigator, and you can see Learn More. So I'm going to sidetrack to the Navigator for a minute. So now, because when you used to get paper manuals, it had all sorts of great information in about Toastmasters, and that's that's now consolidated in the Navigator. And it's all online here, and it talks about the Toastmasters Club and the speeches and evaluations and pathway and expanding your journey. Like, so this is a great resource to just know about and to occasionally take a look at and find out about Toastmasters. So I'm going to go back here to learn more. So pathways and learn more. And this is also nice, especially for the new people. So when you're pointing new people to pathways and you want someone to take a look, it's good for them to take a look here. That has the access to pathways, has a little welcome blurb, which is nice in a video. And then if you page down a little more, you come to the paths and the projects. So Alan, wanting to find out a little bit more, is able to pick a pathway from here, one of the boxes. It opens up and gives a high-level overview of what information is in each of the 5 levels in Pathway. And you can click on the elective projects box and see what the options are for the elective projects in the higher pathways. Now this is nice. It gives you the sort of subjects. If you go out on just in a search box out on the internet and type in something like Toastmasters Pathway Details by Path and Level is what I typed in, it comes up with a number of great websites because some of the districts have some great information out there. You pick up the Toastmaster poster that shows you the fact that there's 5 core competencies and the competencies that are covered in each of the paths. And this one has not been updated to show the humor on the summary page. Maybe it's on the bottom. I didn't page down. Oh, here it is. Yep, engaging humor. So it shows this is high level, but there's some great districts out there, one of which is District 17 in Western Australia, and it has some information about pathways as well, and information about when you click on these, it takes you to another page, and it's great because they give you the summary, they give you information about each of the projects in each of the levels for the path that you're looking at. And District 4 also has a similar website where you can look at a path and see the information for each of the projects in each of the levels. So there's lots of information out there that you can find, and Alan can go and find that, and then that will help him before he takes his survey to pick his path. So story number 2 is Emma. Hello? Hello?
Do you have any questions?
Story number 2. Emma is a working mother, and she joined Toastmasters to advance her career, but she doesn't have much time to fuss with another software program. And Emma just wants to be able to do the following in Pathways: find her current assignment and be able to check information in the assignment and perhaps save a copy to view on her iPad, and print the evaluation form for her speech. So when Emma logs in, she comes to Pathways. I noticed they've been making some updates and they changed the title. So you can either go to the start page or go to Basecamp. They're both the same thing. They'll take you to the same place. Now I am a Basecamp manager, so I see a little more here than you would see. I believe what you see is the Basecamp and the Navigator. If you're not a VP of Ed, Secretary, and the other one, President, I think, and the Basecamp managers by default. So you would go to Basecamp. So Emma's going to go to Basecamp because she wants to find her project. Now, once you're in here, into Basecamp, you can see they have some nice blue menu items. And then there's the educational transcript. I don't have any suggested training in here, but there's navigating Basecamp. So if Emma did have some time to go in and take some training, you can access your educational transcript, see what items you've completed, feedback, badges, and speech evaluations. But right now, Emma wants to just try to remember how the heck did she get to her curriculum. Interesting.
Okay.
Mine is discipline education. Okay, well, we're going to go into the educational transcript because menu has changed since an hour ago. So in here in the education transcript, we can see motivational strategies, which is the path that we'll pretend Emma's on, the path that I'm on. And notice it has open curriculum. Now I have a whole bunch of things in here because I've been playing today, and you'll see throughout the workshop here how these get added into your transcript. So my current pathway is motivational strategies, and you just click open curriculum. Now if you, each one of these little burgundy box has a downward facing arrow, and that arrow will open up other options. So the other option in this case is just training details. So if you open the curriculum, so once Emma's in here, she'll be able to, she's finished level 1 and she's working on level 2. She can click on level 2 in the side little menu, and then if she doesn't remember which assignment she's on, she can just look at the information here. So it tells us 0% level 2, understanding your communication style is the first project for motivational strategies in level 2. And notice in here it says it's in progress. Haven't set the due date, but it's in progress. Notice here, the other ones in this level are not activated. So if Emma forgets what she's doing, she can go in here and say, oh, I'm working on the first project. This is how I get here. And you launch the first project. And we'll just check again here in the bar, it's just launch or view training details. So you can launch the project. So at this point, if you have a pop-up blocker on, it's not going to work. And there is information how to shut off your pop-up blockers, and we can look at that a little bit later. But this check compatibility allows you to see if you have your pop-up blockers on to see if this is going to be a problem. Because sometimes this pop-up just disappears, and you have to know that where to find it. But generally, it's going to come up. Give it a minute to load. You can make it bigger. I'll launch it again because I'm clicking off of it, may have stopped it. You can take your mouse and drag the corner to make it bigger if you want, or you should be able to hit the button to make it large as well up here in the top right corner. And so Emma's already been into her project and has gone through it, and she's trying to figure out how to get back to where she needs to be to print off her evaluation resource and to print off her project or save it to PDF so that she can look at it on her iPad. Normally, if you're going into your project for the first time, you generally will start on the introduction screen. They have a couple of different navigation items to help you. So when you see these little arrows, you know that's going to move you ahead by page. And sometimes when you're in a page, you have then back and next keys buttons to press, and that stays within the content of the page and goes to the options that are here in the page. There's also, if you're seeing further down at the bottom, there's a little drop-down box that allows you to just jump between different sections. Generally, if you're looking for your evaluation this way, you're within your project, go to your evaluation page, and that's generally where you're going to find your print, your project, and your evaluation resource. So I could just click on her evaluation resource. It brings up the form. The top corner has a download button. If you want to print it, you can print it from here. You can download it, save it on your computer, and email it to your evaluator if you wish. There are some people that are wanting to fill it in online. I don't know how many people are doing that, filling it in live, or whether people are using paper. I'm not sure. Maybe at the conference there'll be some talking and people can find out how that's working. So you notice it opened it in a separate tab for me. So I didn't lose where I was, and I can, well, actually I did lose where I was, sorry. This isn't right. Let me move this away. Go to there. Move it off the screen. So I'm a keyboard person, so I just hit my held down my alt key and my tab just to switch me over to the other window, back to my project. So in most cases, you can print your whole project. You click on that link, it'll do the same thing, bring up all the content that was in the project, which you can print a piece of or save. And if you email it to yourself, you can then read your email on your iPad and have it downloaded on your iPad. Make it simple way, but that's usually the way that I do it. So it has information if you'd like to have it in paper. So anything that's online, you can also look at in another format.
Catherine, can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
It's Carolyn. I'd like to ask people who are online for the webinar if they have any comments or questions of Catherine that she could answer for you. But Catherine, between each story, if you wouldn't mind stopping and asking people if they have any questions or comments, or before you go to the next story, that would be great. Thank you. So
I'm going to do my alt. Oh, I'm just going to do my alt tab and go back to the assignment again. Yeah. Okay. Any questions so far? That's how Emma would find which one she's on, the current one. She can jump to the evaluation page, find her evaluation resource, and print the project if she desired. To finish, you just close the window. Close some of these tabs. So that's the end of Emma's story. Does anyone have any questions? Just anyone's talking on mute, we're not hearing you.
Yeah, no. Did anybody have any suggestions on what they've found with their journey through Pathways, and what the struggles or what the joys they found in Pathways?
Well, that's probably better for the question period.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll run through the scenarios, and then that might trigger something with people. So story 3 is Deepa has completed her first level and is working on level 2, just like me. She wants to print a copy of her completion certificate to place for level 1 to place in her achievement binder. So back, she comes to the same place, opens up the curriculum, which is the path that she's working on, and comes back to this page. So you can see that I finished level 1. So if you click on level 1, it allows you to come back and see the 3 projects that you've finished in level 1, and it shows you your level 1 completion. And you can view your certificates. It will pop up. And download it or print it if you wish. Now what we are trying to do in our club, when someone finishes a level as VP of Ed, I go in and I print somebody's certificate. I have some nice linen paper, and then we present it to them at the club. So you're able to go backwards and see the levels that you finished and print a certificate if you need one. Any questions? All right. Story 4. Abed is working on his level 2, but he's curious about what are some of the optional assignments in level 3. How can he find out about the various projects in his level 3? So there's some great resources under tutorials and resources in the menu. Now, it did take me a long time to figure out I would click here and think none of these menus work because I, for some reason, wasn't seeing the little pop up or pop down that shows up. So when you want to choose tutorials and resources, you want to slide your mouse down and actually pick it from the box that shows up there. Now they've been working busily away because I see there's more resources in here. And one of the items that they do have in the subject of resources is project descriptions. And when you click on project descriptions, it brings up all the projects in all the languages. So you can pick your language. And that'll filter it down, so just see the English. And then it shows you all of the various project descriptions. And you can sort, I'm just going to sort by title. We can look at title view, we can look at a list view. So you can look at the icons, or you can look at the list description by toggling back and forth between these. So see if one I have not opened up yet. Let's see, develop your vision. So if you wanted to see what was in the project of develop your vision, you can click on it and launch it. And it'll launch in a pop-up, and it gives you a one-page description of what the purpose is of the project. So for developing your vision, this project focuses on developing a vision for your work or your personal life. It has the purpose, the overview, and what's kind of tasks you're going to have to do in the project. So you can look at all of them, and that gives you a little more information when you get to the point where you have to pick the optional ones, or the optional is not the word they use, but where you can choose from a list the ones to do. This will give you a little more information to help you with that choice. And what you will notice is after you've looked at one, then they're all showing up in your educational transcript. So I'm pretty sure if I just mark it complete, that'll take it away. I was looking at a bunch of things. Yeah, so you just mark them complete. And I'm pretty sure you'll be able to go look at them again. Any questions? So in tutorials and resources, great information there. I noticed they have some nice new tutorials you can choose, and all your evaluation guides are here. So if you're looking for the evaluation resource for a specific speech, you can find them all in here. So if you're trying to find, if you're trying to find an evaluation resource because you know you're going to evaluate a specific person's project and you're not sure they'll bring it, you can always come in here yourself and print it as well. Did Darlene come on the phone?
I'm here.
Yes. Did you happen to go in and look and see what you could see when I sent you feedback?
No, I thought that was for afterwards. Sorry, but I do have one. I do have one question though.
Okay.
Is there a way to actually just see the evaluation online, or is it just always printed? Because I tried to open it and I could not. I felt like I couldn't open it. I could send it to print, but if I just wanted to view that evaluation form online, is there a way to do that?
So.
Maybe this isn't relevant right at this moment.
No, this is fine. So from what I can see, well, let's just pick one. So what I can see, when you pick it, it's going to open, and we're going to launch it. It'll open up that form within the browser. So this one actually allows you could type in right here. Speech title. No, it's not going to let me. I think the best bet is to download it. And once you get it into Adobe,
okay.
I think it then allows you to fill it in. Heather or Michael might be able to say more. It's not letting me type on the webinar one, but just a second, so we should be able to find it.
No, my understanding is that you have to download it to your computer to actually fill in the fields, but you can do it electronically, or you can print it off and fill it in. But If you do it electronically, then you can just simply email it to the person that you're evaluating. Or if you do it on paper, then the person can take it, and if they want to save a copy of it on Basecamp, they can, or they can just print it off themselves, or do whatever they want with it. But I generally suggest that everyone keep a copy of any completed evaluations for the records.
So it just was a little slow. It is letting me, let's make it bigger so we can actually see it. It is letting me type in here now that I'm in Adobe after I downloaded it. And then, so if you had a computer with you, or an iPad, or some sort of, electronic device that would allow you to get into Adobe in the meeting and have the access to the form, a person could enter the stuff right here on the form, and like Michael said, email it.
Awesome, thank you.
Or you can print it from here as well. All right. All right. So that does lead, Michael's comments does lead us to, let's go to the home. Go back to the home. So as Michael said, it's good to save your evaluations. What you can do is the speech evaluation box has information here as well. So it tells you how you can find your resources. It also lists all of the evaluation resources here. So it's another place to get to it. And that's good to know, because there's some information there. Where am I trying to get to? All right, I'm having a little bit of a brain freeze here. Oh, educational transcript, let's go back in there. So in the educational transcript, you have your e-portfolio. And in here, you can actually, if someone's emailed the file to you, or if you scan and save the PDF copy, or if you take, Michael, do you think that, or how did you think a person can type it back in, or you'd want it, it's better to keep the original that someone's written if they've handwritten it?
I've never bothered retyping any of the evaluations. I just scan them and upload them.
And you can take a picture with your phone too.
Yeah, but I've seen people who have retyped them as well. So
yeah,
it's kind of up to the individual to decide what they would like to do.
Yeah. So I'm obviously a little bit slack. I have put my icebreaker up here. So when you click on the portfolio, it allows you to store your evaluations or any other, and your speeches really, if you wish to, in here by level. So you can click on here and you can add a file. If you select add a file, it's typical PC stuff. It's going to open up a window to let you go find the file you want to add. Just pick one. You select it. It should come up. Oh, file name's too long. Okay, let me pick a different one. Let me pick a shorter name. Let's just pick this. Is that shorter? Yes. Okay. Loading the file. And then you click add. And then it adds the file. And if you pick the wrong one, you can delete it again. Always look for something with a little downward facing arrow if you're looking for more options. Oh, and Heather, you just made a comment, and I want to, it went right out of my head. Oh, tracking your roles. Yes. So so we have feedback, transcript, ePortfolio, and Basecamp profile. If you look at your Basecamp profile about me, You can see if you've tracked any of your roles on your profile. So I did add my picture. I figured out how to add my picture. They have some good instructions here. Pick some interests that I have. So if you want to add your, say you service table topics, if you go up here, if you might have a picture, if you put a picture up or the little icon, the little flower or gearbox, and choose my account, you can come in here and select the date of which you served as the various roles. You'll need to have this done for level 4 before you move on to level 4, I believe. So if I was, what did I do? So if I was all counter last week, I could pick that, or I could clear it, and then it would be saved. So under my account, the gearbox in my account allows you to assign which dates you've done the roles. So I have not used the feedback. Has anyone on the phone used the feedback form? Oh, Audrey. So once you've done the roles, it only allows you to store one date. Because for the Pathways program, you just have to have the one date stored. So so you couldn't do it there. I mean, if you wanted to and you had a little Word document or something, you could upload it into your portfolio if you want to keep track of when you've done that. So my last story, Madhu, question for the end. Okay, I've got my. Let me just expand this over here. I'm going to expand over there, and then I'll be able to see the chats a little easier. I'm just in my other window here, so I can look at what people are posting.
Madhu has a question. I have a question
Yeah.
at the end. Okay.
Well, we can answer that one right now. I believe, Madhu, if you have a new club. Her question is, how would prospective members in a new club working on becoming chartered start working on their icebreakers if they're not members of any other club? So, just a second here. I just want to get back to Toastmasters. They should be able to sample the icebreaker without being on the system. I'm pretty sure if you come here to Pathways and Learning More, to learn more. Yeah, if you page down, there's sample your first project, break the ice, and it will allow them to look at the icebreaker project. So pick icebreaker, pick English, or whatever language they wish. And I think they'd be able to print it off. Not going too fast. Oh, there we go. So they're able to get into the icebreaker project here. And if they wanted to go to the evaluation page, they could print it, print the outline, and print the evaluation resource. And so they should be able to see that without having been signed up yet for Toastmasters. Just going through this chat to see if there's anything else. Okay, Patricia. Oh, it was Patricia that said about the roles. Thank you, Patricia. Okay. So you do have the ability to ask people for feedback. I did send one to Darlene because I haven't used it, but you can request feedback, and Darlene should be able to see something from me saying I'm requesting feedback and give me some information. I was kind of curious about this because I thought, well, can I get Carolyn to give me feedback? But Carolyn's not in my club, and I can't find her, so I believe it's only going to work within your club. And perhaps when you get to higher levels, it might expand where you can get help from. But I haven't really spent time on the feedback. So if there's questions around feedback, if someone on the phone doesn't know about it, we'd have to find out and get back to you. So are there any general questions or any other questions?
Audrey has another question. When you get your charter kit from TM, you get your icebreaker in the kit? Catherine?
I have no idea because it's available just on the website. And I'm pretty sure it's available to everyone. And let me just try logging out of, well, anyone else can try just going to the Pathways without logging in and see. But I'm pretty sure it's available because I was able to go through the Icebreaker project before District 45 was allowed on Pathways.
Okay.
So I was able to look at the Icebreaker. So I'm pretty sure, yes, it is available to everyone.
Yeah, Patricia says it is.
Oh, that wasn't, Patricia was not asking a question. She was making a statement. So
right.
She was just saying this. Sorry.
We'll get it together, not to worry.
So that's some basic navigation within finding where your projects are. Oh, so now it's showing up here. So maybe, I'm not sure why it wasn't here before, but generally on your education, this is a shortcut to your educational transcript. Your curriculum is here as well. I think because I was opening so many other things, it got moved off the list.
Yeah, that little display only shows you the first 5 or 6 lines of your transcript.
So I had too much open to see it because it was there earlier, and I thought, oh, this is here. They do, for those that like to gather badges, have the badges. And I've achieved the level 1, and that I activated my path. So far I've only got 2. I'm sure if earning badges helps spur you on to completing things, then you can use that as well to help. What I like about Pathways is how it suits very many different personalities and learning styles.
Catherine, it's Carolyn. Just back to the beginning part when you're talking about Google and doing a search, and it brought up a lot of resources. What did you type in? What did you type in Google to get the variety? Well, is Pathways something and something?
I typed in Toastmasters Pathway details on paths.
What in paths? Or, I didn't get that.
Details.
Okay.
Details. Yeah. But we can. I wonder if I post this in chat, if people can copy it. That's the District 4 one. And District 17 one. If I put in chat, you may be able to see it. Can everyone? I think everyone can see everyone else's chat. So you can copy that URL and save it to your computer. Okay. Oh, that was my buzzer on my phone. Michael sent out an email for the icebreaker as well. But it is on the Learn More Pathways page. You can just page down and get to it. Oh, and Audrey said it was in her charter kit too. Okay. Any other questions? Is this all, what about comments on, is this all stuff you already all knew? Is there anything new that you learned that will be useful to know?
Catherine, Carolyn, with the clubs that you're in, have you found that the people that have signed up have had many difficulties or not?
I think a few people have had difficulties getting back into their path and finding the information. But I also think that Toastmasters has done a few updates because I've noticed improvements, quite a few improvements. And even here on the tutorials, like when you go into tutorials and resources, they now have some quick reference guides along with the videos. And those quick reference guides, I don't remember them being there early on. So I think they're adding information all the time and updating things. I think we've got a couple of ambassadors on that could maybe confirm that.
That's great.
Yes, they've been making incremental changes. They haven't been very good about advertising them. I guess they just want to slip them in there and have people stumble across them. But,
yeah, because these quick reference guides are new. I don't recall seeing them before, and it's kind of handy to have. Because I was making them for our club on various things.
yeah.
But it does seem to have gotten a little bit easier to get around in and have a little more information, which is good. And I'm sure they'll continue to build on it.
And Catherine, it's Carolyn again. When people do speeches in your club, do they, or actually to anyone on the webinar, do people actually bring their evaluations, or what happens, either more that, or are they more email to each other? Which is the most prolific way of doing it?
Almost everybody that I know uses printed evaluation forms and gets the evaluator to fill them out, and then they just get it back from the evaluator after the meeting.
In our club, almost everyone forgets to bring it, but I had a little printer issue and printed 20 copies of one of them. And since they're all relatively similar except for the description, they tend to use one for another project and if they forget. So always good for the VP of Education to have a few extra generic ones around.
Hi, it's Patricia. There's a generic evaluation form as well, which all the VPEs should keep on hand for that time when the speaker doesn't provide it to their evaluator. I know in my clubs, sometimes they have them and sometimes they don't. The advanced club, I always keep an extra one, but I always print the evaluation for the evaluator of the speaker if they're doing a Pathways project. Makes things a little easier because 9 times out of 10, the speaker has forgotten to provide it to their evaluator because at the advanced club, most of the people are of the legacy program or had learned Toastmasters in the legacy program. So Pathways hasn't been as transformational to them, but we're working on it.
Yeah. So here in the tutorials and resources, when you click on evaluation resources in English, and it's alphabetical, so you come down and here's the generic evaluation resource. It's a really good idea. I'm going to open that. I'm going to open that and save it and print it. Because the evaluation forms are very similar. They have your Excel that you may want to work on, you challenge yourself, and then the criteria as well. So I'll just keep that open.
There are some,
print a few copies.
Yeah, there's some exceptions, but to that rule, like the active listening project or the evaluation of the evaluator project from level, the evaluation and feedback project. What I've done is I've printed a bunch of the level 1 and level 2 evaluation forms just the 2 pages, not the
Right.
guide. And what I've done is I've taken the guides and I've only printed 1 copy of the guide, and I just keep that available as a reference if somebody needs it. But so you only really need to have 1 page of paper for an evaluation if you print it 2-sided.
Right. Sounds like a plan. So Heather wants to know about the charter kit. I haven't seen a charter kit in quite a while, probably 15 years, so I'm not entirely sure what is in one. Madhu, if someone had a chance to see a charter kit recently?
I haven't seen a charter kit, but I have an inventory of what is in a charter kit,
Okay.
and I'll email that to you, and maybe you can share that with everybody.
Okay. And Audrey was said her transcript box looks different from hers. Is it because I have more things on my list, Audrey? Oh, Audrey did put some comments in the chat too about what was in the charter kit. She said it gives you magazines, literature, pathways information, charter member applications, and icebreaker.
This is Audrey. On your navigation, on your transcript, the little box that you had below, when you first went to Pathways, the little box, you had an option to,
This one?
yeah, you have an option to mark complete or launch. I've never seen the mark complete.
So this one is an evaluation resource because I've been
Okay.
opening a whole bunch of things. So it's not the curriculum. So it's just, I just open a document and it stays on this list and then I mark it complete and it'll go away.
Oh,
These
okay.
are just,
Thank you.
yeah, these are just various things that I've been playing today, making sure I knew where things were and opening to see what things look like. So the one that's your pathway is always going to say open curriculum, and all the
Okay.
other ones are launching lists because they have a nice evaluation video in here, and that can show up sometimes. And then once you're done, you mark it complete. And I've been through. I don't know why. I just explore my profile overview. I've gone through it 2 or 3 times. I obviously have missed completing it or something because it keeps showing up. But it's I imagine everybody's is going to be a little bit different. And you can, and if you want to look, the other thing I noticed here is you do have some, you can sort different, you can pick types on your transcript list, and you can look at active and completed. So it should actually show some of those ones. Yeah, so all these ones that I've opened and show as complete now, mark it now, show as completed.
There are, by the way, there are some of the tutorials and other resources that seem to have a glitch in them, and they don't actually let you go to completion with them. So you have to mark them as, you have to manually sort of get them removed or remove them from your transcript. But I only ran across one that did that to me, but I understand there are a couple.
It just may not have finished it.
And they may have fixed those.
Yeah.
In one of their incremental updates. So.
So they do have, you can get to the navigator here. They have frequently asked questions in this tutorial and resources. There's a Basecamp glossary too, which I probably will show up for everybody. And that's nice because it defines some of the terms that are being used. And of course, obviously, I can get at some Basecamp manager training as well, where I'm a manager. But no, there's lots of great things. You have time to take a look at it. I've certainly used the training as the manager to figure out how to, do the level completions for people and have a look at the information about the club and how the members are doing, where they are. I suppose that would be useful to figure out which evaluation to probably print up. Well, Carolyn, I'd say if there's no other questions, let's see, is there anything else in there? Okay.
Does anybody else have any questions or comments, suggestions? And we've got about 7 minutes left.
So Heather was wondering whether or not there's going to be Wi-Fi at the convention when they're providing the Pathways training. Generally, hotels have a Wi-Fi. Most of the time that I've been at conventions, I've been able to get at Wi-Fi, so I would expect it's fairly common.
Unless they ripped it out since the last time we were there. They had Wi-Fi when we were last down at Sunday River.
Okay, perfect.
Well, thank you, Catherine, for a wonderful presentation. We enjoyed it all and look forward to doing many great more things with Toastmasters and Pathway program. Thank you, everyone, for attending. This will be posted tomorrow on YouTube. And looking forward to seeing many of you at the conference in just a couple of weeks. Have a great evening. We will have one more webinar, which will be May 5th. So look for the invitation. We'll see you all then. Have a great 2 weeks. Bye for now. Catherine, are you there? Hi, just hang on a minute. I gotta shut this down.